I have a cake order due today. Red velvet cake packs. I am 6 weeks postpartum and my baby is interrupting me every few minutes. Oh God. Let's see how it goes. Let me show you what goes into making this. There are tiny details that separates a good red velvet cake from a great one. And trust me, what I make in my studio are always great red velvet cake. So this is what I do first before I start off with any other thing when I'm making a red velvet cake. This is milk. These are all the ingredients that I'm using for this recipe. I'm going to show you each one and the measurement as I go. So this is half cup of milk, because for this recipe I'm halving the recipe. So for this I'm using half cup of milk, and to this half cup of milk I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of vinegar. This is to make the buttermilk for this red velvet cake. It helps to add kind of moisture to the cake and works a whole lot in the overall outcome of the cake. So I made the buttermilk. This is just plain milk and vinegar. You can either use vinegar or you can use lemon juice. Either of them is going to work very fine. So I made the buttermilk and I'm going to set it aside. Then before any other thing goes in, I want to sift my dry ingredient and set it aside. This is a very quick recipe and you don't want to waste time on it. So I always want to set out all my ingredients down on the table so I don't miss anything. So yeah, first I'm going to sift this. I'm going to dump this flour inside the bowl. This is 150 grams of flour. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of cornflour. I'm going to add the red velvet color, and I'm using half teaspoon of red velvet powdered color. This particular brand I'm using is Excellent Blend. If you can't get this, you can always use the food gel color red. Add about 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder. This. So for the baking powder, I'm adding half tablespoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm going to sift this. To be honest, guys, having to handle my business and being a mother is something nobody prepared me for. I didn't know that postpartum was going to be this hard. I thought it was just going to be smooth sailing until my Ruby came and everything has just been upside down. Doing jobs, I have to do a whole lot of prep ahead of time, make sure that I get her ready and stop kind of midway of whatever I'm doing when she's up. Nobody prepared me for this. These are buttermilk. It's all formed. When you make the buttermilk, when you look at the inside, it's as if it's formed lumps, as if it's giving you that yogurt texture, and the aroma changes. Don't miss this step when you are making your red velvet cake. So this is butter. I'm using melted butter. You can use oil as well. So turn the melted butter in here. Make sure that you melt it, allow it to cool to room temperature before you use it. Don't use hot butter. And then for the egg, I am using 1 large egg. Large egg for the recipe, please. Large egg. What did I say? I said large egg, okay? So large egg, and I'm going to separate the yolk from the white part of the egg. Half teaspoon of the strawberry flavor, the condensed milk flavor. Combination of these two flavors is 7. Half teaspoon of salt for taste. This, I'm going to give it just a good whisk, and I'm just going to add 1 cup of this to the egg white. This will help to stabilize it while I am whisking it. And I'm going to add the sugar slowly. I'm going to whisk this until it gets to stick thick. Yeah, we are going to add the flour in 2 batches. The first consistency before you add hot water is going to be like this. You see? It's going to be like this. Then we are going to add half cup of the water. The meringue that we have done and set aside. So this, I'm just going to add small portion of this, just a little portion of it, and then using the whisk, I'm going to turn this. See, this takes your red velvet cake from 0 to 100. The way this changes the red velvet cake is underrated. You guys, trust me and try it. So now I'm going to dump the remaining one inside. I'm going to fold in. Remember, I used the whisk to mix the other one in. Then the larger batch, I'm just going to fold this in, just like this. This doesn't just give you a perfect red velvet cake. This also gives you volume. So if you're a business owner like me, if you're a mompreneur like me, and you want a recipe that yields more for you, for your business, this yields more and gives a perfect result. So once it just is folded in, you stop mixing. A red velvet cake part, I'm going to bake with these foil packs. I'm going to pour this in. I've already cleaned this just to this level. So the consistency, you guys, your red velvet cake should always look like. I'm going to go in with some topping. This client requested toppings for this cake, so I'm doing shredded peanuts, and I'm going to go in with some cashew nuts. This is my makeshift oven. I don't want to on the big oven just because of this. I'm baking this with a pot. So if you are watching me and you don't have an oven, you can still bake this. You can still bake this. So I preheated this. And funny enough, this bakes faster all the time I use it. more than what the oven does. I'm going to add the third one here. Yeah,
Well done.
okay, let's see if everything fits in. But that's really trying to fit all this in here. It's kind of risky, but I risked it. I'm always a risk taker. Okay, I think it fits. So we're going to let this bake. Our makeshift oven did a wonderful job. Gosh, only my fingers. Yes. This is heaven. Mama. Cheers. Try some. Try some. You and grow up. So you start eating all these things I'm making. It's so good. See you in my next one.